So, following Ontario's Cuts to Education, I began thinking about the role of education in any given government, its correlation with sustainable democracy, and how a government can maneuver education to achieve its agenda. As a student of global and international studies, I then began thinking about education, how education can be a tool to achieve a positive agenda. I asked myself, can emerging democracies use education as a tool to develop their country? As a student who specializes in European and Russian studies, the first case which I thought about was Ukraine. With their revolution in 2014, Ukraine showed its commitment to democratization and the path to Europeanization. So therefore, I decided to research if and how Ukraine may be using education policy as a method of democratic consolidation in post-revolution period. So to find out, I went to Ukraine for 2 months and I interviewed Ministry of Education employees to see which reforms have been passed and to understand the intentions behind these reforms. I also interviewed secondary school teachers to examine how these reforms are being implemented on the ground. So the results of my research indicate that the Ukrainian government is really allocating a lot of effort into modernizing its education system. Since 2014, the government has implemented a lot of reforms which introduce an absolutely new system and structure of education, which is based on the school system in Finland. It went from Soviet methods of lecturing, repetition, and respect for authority, which is kind of expressed in this photo on the right, of a Soviet school in the 70s, to new values of student-centricism, skills and competency development, teacher autonomy, parent partnership, and transparency, which is expressed in that photo on the left of a modern school in Ukraine. So the Ukrainian government is using education reforms to essentially generate a new generation of Ukrainians who are innovative and are raised with European values of democracy, tolerance, and inclusivity. As a result of this internship, I developed a lot of valuable skills, which I'm very thankful for, including critical thinking, analytical skills, and of course, networking. But most importantly, I developed confidence as a researcher, which is very important in my future career. This project sparked my interest in further research in the field of education. This is my final semester at Carleton, so my next step is to get into a master's program that allows me to focus my research on education policy. My research is just a drop in the water, and there's so much work to be done, including raising the awareness of the importance of education policy and how it is often used as a political instrument, sometimes in a positive way, such as in Ukraine right now, and sometimes not so positive, such as the current case of Ontario. Thank you.